What's going on, guys? Welcome to another tank video. In this video I am going to go through the VCR Veteran Cloudrest portal mechanic from a tank point of view. There's quite a lot to go through really. It is going to vary quite significantly depending on whether you're doing the hard mode and also whether you're doing solo portals. And when I say solo portals, I'm talking about only taking one DD down in the portal with you. Some groups, certainly, if the DDs are not confident or if they're newer to the mechanic, will normally take 2 DDs down with you. So that will vary. I'm going to be showing it from a solo tank point of view, so you've only got 1 DD with you. There's a couple of things that you maybe won't need to do quite as much as me if you do have an extra DD. But anyway, let's get into it and we'll go through it step by step so that we can see what's going on. So first of all, when Zamarja is going to spawn the portal, you'll see her sort of wave her arms around in the air. They'll go out wide, and you'll see that straight away when I press play. So this is her spawning the portal. Now, first tip I would give, when you go to the portal, which is going to be in the center of the room, before you synergize it, try and face towards the entrance of the room. The reason you do that is because when you go down into the portal, Zamarja, her shade in the portal will always be towards the entrance. So it just basically means that when you go down in the portal, you don't have to spin around looking for her. So face towards the entrance, it can be a little bit tricky if you get easily sort of disorientated, but try and focus on where the entrance is. You can see sort of like a statue normally at the entrance side, so that's one way that you can tell that you're facing in the right direction. So face towards the entrance and then synergize the portal and go down. First thing you're going to do when you go down in the portal is you're going to throw a taunt at Zamarja and then cool down your DD. The quicker you get down there, the quicker you taunt her, and the quicker you cool down your DD or DDs, the more time that you have in the portal. So that's the first thing you want to do. After your DD comes down, what you're going to do is start Ellie draining the crystals. You can use Ellie Drain or Ellie Susceptibility. I personally use Ellie Drain. It's cheaper, longer duration, so I use that. You want to use this because you're basically applying major breach to all of the crystals, which is going to reduce the armor of the crystals and therefore speed up the DDs killing them. Now, while you are Ellie draining these crystals, one thing to always sort of have in mind that's quite important is Zamarja will do a heavy attack usually quite soon after coming into the portal. Now I've got my back to her at the minute, but you can see I am still holding block, and that's because the heavy attack is coming. So either sort of have your eye on her in the background or just make sure that you're block casting the Ellie Drain, and you'll see that heavy attack come at me right there. She's then teleporting and I continue to do my Ellie draining. I'm also going to use my Vigor to proc Powerful Assault for my DD here. I'm just making sure that I've got taunt on her, I'm stabbing the crystals. Here comes another heavy attack which my Shimmering Shield has absorbed. Now, shortly into the portal starting, around about 30 seconds, she's going to start this mechanic, which is the Explode mechanic. And what this is doing is a growing AoE is filling the entire room, and when it fills the room, it's going to explode, and it will one-shot you if you don't jump up to one of the 4 platforms around the edge of the room. Now, on hard mode, you only have one synergy pad that you can use to go up onto the platform. In +0, all 4 of them are available. In +1, only 3 of them are available, and in +2, you only have 2 available. But for +3 on hard mode, you only have 1. So you basically lose 1 pad for each plus that you do on the VCR. So in this case on hard mode, we've only got 1 pad, so we need to have a good view of the whole room. We can see where the pad is and we're going to run to it straight away. I am using the wings on the Warden to get there a bit faster, and I'm also communicating to my DD where it is. So you synergize to jump up onto the platform, and then when this AoE down here fills the room, you'll see it explode, and once it's exploded, you then want to jump down, because the same AoE is then going to grow up on the platform. So explode and then jump down, and you can see the AoEs up top. They will explode upstairs, so if you don't jump down quick enough, then it's going to kill you up there as well. We're going to reapply our taunt to Zamarja. Now we can see we've got our first core or sphere or orb, whatever you want to call it, which has appeared. So whenever our DDs are killing the crystals, there is a chance that one of these cores will spawn from them. There's going to be 3 cores in total that spawn, and when they do spawn down here, the people upstairs can synergize a golden shard and send it down to us. So we can see we've got our first one already sent down. Now this is a really easy case for me to pick up a core and drop it off because it's right next to it. So this is a very simple example. However, there might be occasions where you've got a core that appears and then the shard is really far away, and you have to be a little bit more careful here, because if you go to deliver that and Zamaja starts doing this mechanic that she's doing right now, the interrupt mechanic, then you won't be able to interrupt it unless you've got crushing shock on. I don't usually run that. I normally wait for the interrupt to happen. I'll bash her and then I'll go and deliver one of my cores. If you don't bash her in time, your DDs will fall from the sky and they'll take quite a significant amount of damage. So make sure that you interrupt that mechanic. Now you can see I've got another core up at the minute, and another shard has just appeared. So what I'm going to do is take this heavy attack first of all. I know she's done her interrupt mechanic, so I don't need to be stood near her right now. She's also teleported, and so I've gone and dropped off the second one. Now, shortly, right now, she's doing her next explode mechanic. So this happens twice per portal. So we need to make sure that we are ready for that to happen. When it does happen, again, look out for your AoE near one of the platforms, one of your synergies near the platforms, and then go and synergize that to go up onto the platform. We do have our third core available at the minute, but we don't want to drop that off yet because that will make the portal too quick. We want to do that towards the end to extend the portal as long as possible. So we're going to jump up, again communicating to our DD where it is, wait for the explode to happen, and then jump down. And then finally we'll go and drop off the last one. And again, I'm just delaying this a little bit to make the portal last longer. The last thing to kind of note about it is when you come out, you are going to need to taunt the monstrosity that appears, which will usually be in the center of the room. So you need to be ready to grab that, otherwise it will start to kill your DDs slowly one by one. Okay, so that's pretty much it for a sort of first look of an entire portal. The only thing I didn't mention, which I just wanted to very briefly, was the number of crystals actually changes depending on whether you're doing a VCR +0, a 1, a 2, or a hard mode with +3. So the base number of crystals that you get down in the portal that you've got to kill is 5. And then you get an additional crystal for every plus that you're doing. So for example, on a +1, you'll get an extra crystal, so you'll have 6. And on the hard mode +3, you'll have a total of 8 crystals that your DD needs to kill. Now, obviously that means that your DD or DDs have to be a little bit faster with killing the crystals on a hard mode. So just be aware of that, and that's why the early draining is especially important on a hard mode, so that they can kill those crystals a little bit quicker. So we'll watch one more portal through very quickly. I won't pause it as much on this one. I'll just sort of explain it quickly as we go. So again, watching Zamaja's animation, she does her sort of arms moving around out wide. We face the entrance and we go down, taunt Zamaja and call your DD down before starting to use the Ellie Drain. Now again, we do often but not always get a heavy attack fairly soon, so it came a little bit later on this one. So again, I'm finishing off Ellie draining all of the crystals, and then I'm going to reapply my taunt to Zamaja. Now, here comes the explode mechanic. So again, we've got the synergy right over the other side of the room this time, so we have to be quick. We jump up, wait for the explode to happen, and then jump down. Now, one thing to point out is after, it's been a long time, but I think it's about 60% of the boss's health. When we go down in Portal, we're going to start to get this cone appearing. Now, this cone comes out of the center portal, and it will also happen upstairs as well. Now, what happens if you get stuck in this cone when it explodes, you'll get sent back upstairs. Or if you are already upstairs and you get hit by the cone, you'll get sent down into the portal. So basically, the cone is sending you in and out of portal depending on which one you're in. The way that it works is it appears, and then after a couple of seconds, it kind of explodes, and you'll see it hopefully explode in a second. So if you're in the cone and you're right in the middle of it, you can roll dodge it if you're experienced enough and you know the timing of it. Most of the time, it's easy to just run out of it. The one time when it's not so easy is if you jump off the platform upstairs right when the cone appears, because obviously you have a period of time that it takes you to land on the ground. If it appears perfectly when you step off the edge, you basically almost don't have any time to roll dodge out of that. So you certainly don't have time to run out of it. So you do have to roll dodge in that case. So just be aware of that. The best thing you can kind of do is step off the edge like carefully. So rather than taking a long run and jumping, because then it takes you longer to hit the ground and land. Whereas if you just step off like very sort of quickly, then you hit the ground a bit quicker and you've got a little bit more time to react if it spawns perfectly with sort of centrally to you. So just be aware of that as well. You see that explosion there as the cone went off. So again, Samaj has given us a heavy attack. We're having a look around the room. We see there's an orb behind us, but I need to bash her first. I've got an orb that's close to the pad there, but my DD took it, which is also fine. I've got one orb available to me at the moment. Now, one thing that's important to note is that the maximum amount of orbs that you really want to be sort of delivering after the second jump is 2. You have time to deliver 1 each. So in the case of a solo portal where there's just me and 1 DD, we can deliver 2 orbs between us after the second jump. So you need to make sure that you try and deliver at least 1 before the second jump. And as you've seen, my DD did deliver 1, so that was good. That means we've got 1 each to deliver after this second jump here. If you don't have all of the orbs exposed and sort of visible to you before the second jump, you're in trouble, because then your DD has to very quickly kill the last crystal, find the last orb, and then your person upstairs has to send down the last shard very quickly. So your aim really is to do at least 1 orb delivery before the second jump and have all of the orbs visible to you before the second jump as well, so that you have time to then deliver the last 2 before the second jump. If you can deliver 2 before the second jump, then that's great. Then you only have to deliver 1 after. And like I said in the first portal explanation, I also probably wouldn't deliver the last orb before the second jump, because then you're making the portal too short, and that means the next one's going to come fairly quickly. So drag it out a little bit and deliver that last one after the second jump. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope it was useful. It can take a little bit of time to get used to this mechanic, especially if you are doing solo portals and you only have 1 DD with you, because your responsibilities increase at that point. But the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it. I'm going to let just another couple of portals play now, just so you can again watch it through and have some more examples. If you did find the video useful, please do leave a like on the video and also consider subscribing to my channel. And if you have any questions about the video, then please leave a comment as well. And I'll see you in the next one.